A very important part of becoming extremely successful working with conditional trades are to understand some extremely important do's and don'ts. So I'm going to say them. I'd like you to write them down. Sometime in the near future, I will put out a PowerPoint that gives you the easy step-by-steps written down. But for right now, I want you to listen. First thing that you don't want to do is don't leave your stops on if the market is gapping down or gapping up. Now, there are caveats to that, so let me go one by one. If you are long in a trade and the market gaps down and you can see it gapping down and it looks like it can come into your stop, it is my recommendation that you pull that stop off and wait for the market to settle down. Classic example, BMY today. Gapping down, most of us pulled the stop off. For some of us, it was the first time we've ever done that, and it worked out fabulously. Here's what you need to focus on. Why would we take a stop off? Because the market bounces or it retraces part of its move that creates the gap. So if you are long and you're coming into a stock, coming into the morning, and you see it gapping down into your stop, take the stop off and watch the charts for 30 minutes. If the charts do not make a lower low in the first 30 minutes, or it recovers your stop event, then you can put your stop right back in there and go about your business. All right? Here's the flip side. If you are short and the market is gapping up into your stop, remove your stop, wait for the 30 minutes. If just so long as you do not make a higher high in the first 30 minutes, you're going to be just fine leaving your stop back on so that you can continue in this trade and not get blown out. Some of you go, well, I can't watch that. You know what? Then that's the price of business. You're going to get stopped out on a gap. For those of you that say, hey, listen, I'm going to make the time to manage that event, and if I can't do it, then I'm going to go in, note the conditional trading event, and in the stop action, what you need to do is put the stop to work at a specific time. Like I'm not going to get my stop to trigger until 9:45. And then that's when my stop will trigger. All right, how does that look? I'll show it to you right here. All right, so here's the stop. See how it says submit order a specific moment, right? So you're going to submit that order at 9:45, right? If you're on the Eastern time zone. It's got the same sort of thing, right? Only you've specified when it is that that time can go in force. And you can do that early in the day before you've left for work. All right? So that's just how that works. So here, let's get back to the do's and don'ts because we're still talking about them. Here's the next event. Let's say you have a trading setup. All right? And the trading setup is go long at the breach of, like we're going to see UPS tomorrow, and the market gaps up in the morning, and you know as soon as you get in, your order is going to get triggered. Remove your order. Remove it. Because what's going to happen is that is going to pull back part of the way most of the time. More times than not, it will pull back into support and then begin to bounce. You pull your order off. You can leave it in the order queue. See how this says order entry? and that says order Q. You can put it in the queue there, or you can go right here into the opening part and say, I don't want this thing even remotely looking at being executed until 9:45. All right? So if it's gapping up, the worst things in the world are to trigger a long or a short based on gap action that's accelerating to the north or the south. It retraces more times than not, and you end up getting very, very bad fills. Okay? It could be that it turns around and runs away from you. Hey, listen, there's another trade around the corner. The two most important things to remember have to do with what you need to do with your trades when the market is gapping. All right? That's the only weakness that these formations have, is that they're at the mercy of the gap. So if you step in and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to be at the mercy of the gap. I'm going to pull these off when they're supposed to pull off, and I'm going to get right back in after the appointed time, right? And that could be 9:45. It could be 10 o'clock. Whatever you want to do. 10 o'clock sometimes is great. But a lot of times, if a stock is gapping up and it's going to continue, it will pull back 38.2% of the gap. That's why we study fibs. 38.2% of the gap, and then it will move back to the upside. All right, or move back to the downside, whichever way it's going, and you can get a better fill. Your goal is to get a good fill and not be at the mercy of the gaps. All right? Those are the key events for conditional trades. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video on advanced trigger entry and how to use the short side. This is going to be for platinum members, but I'm going to leave it open so everybody can understand it. If I am seeing a long and a short setup, and my short setup doesn't quite trigger, and it begins to go long, all those short levels turn into support, and so you can end up making a lot of really slick trades just by taking a hard look at these particular levels. So I'm going to do that video tomorrow. For now, that's it. I'll see you all in the morning.